Now, recently, I get to see this a lot on Twitter, and I don't know why. I guess the algorithm just thinks I want to see carnage, because it keeps sending me these sensitive videos. I genuinely think they're Russian psyops or Russian propaganda, because otherwise I can't make sense of it. Like, I refuse to believe that people are this stupid, and these videos always show drone footage from the Ukrainian side, where you have a Russian soldier, usually in a fetal position or in a situation where they're surrendering or they're basically accepting their fate, and the drone either drops a grenade, kills them, and you have heavy metal music in the background, and in the comment section you have people going based, 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 or like orcs, 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 you know? And so, you're looking at the comments. Usually, like, these types of videos have millions of views. And the comments are attacking, like, extremely aggressive to anyone that's bewildered about what they're seeing. Like, why are you showing me this? Like, why do you think I want to see carnage on my footage? Like, this is not showing me a battle. You're showing me an execution. And there's other people saying, well, you know, the guy surrendered. Like, oh, the orcs are the invaders. It's like, okay, no, I get that. But don't you think that this type of footage can be used as war propaganda by the Russians? Oh, they probably want this. And then they probably do have it because it's on the internet. And all they have to do is to show their soldiers. It's like, look how they treat you if you surrender. Look like how they're treating your brothers. You know, look what they're doing if you end up in this position. You know, fight until death. And so, what are you accomplishing here? What is the purpose of these videos? Why do you share them? Why do you retweet them? Like, I would understand why the Russians would retweet them. I understand why the opposite side would want to create black propaganda and pretend that they're Ukrainians glorifying this. I get that. But, like, if you're not on the Russian side and you're commenting, liking, or retweeting this, why? Like, what's the purpose? And so, you have people like Arch Warhammer, you know, coming in and being horrified about this, because, like, most people are, you know, like, most people that aren't terminally online, and most people that, you know, they understand war, they understand the need and the morality and the ideology behind what's happening, but they don't want to see execution videos. They're basically saying, well, where's the humanity in this? Like, the humanity is now a soldier dying for likes, retweets, and subscribes with heavy metal music, you know, like, there's no decorum here. Imagine if we were to see the Battle of Verdun from World War I, and you get to see, like, soldiers being blown up with heavy metal music and people going based, based, based. Right? There's no more humanity anymore on the internet? Like, this is what people are saying. It's not about tone policing. It's not about going after people. How can you say that? It's just, like, the culture that's being fostered. That, like, what is the end goal? Like, what happens after seeing this? You know, like, does it increase the recruitment number for Ukrainians? Probably not. Does it motivate Russians to believe that the opposite side enjoys likes, retweets, and glorifying their death? Probably. So how do you think they're going to react? Now, as I mentioned before, Arch came in and he said that he disagrees with this, thinks that drones are dehumanizing the combat. And I don't think that it's true. I don't think that the drones themselves are a problem, but I think the footage is. But I guess, yeah, like, drones are definitely changing the face of warfare. And I think because, like, they remove the carnage, like, you don't actually get to see what happens after the person is blown up. You don't get to see the guts and the gore. It's very easy for people to cheer and to enjoy this spectacle. Like, here you have a 40-second footage of a Russian soldier, which apparently has resigned himself to his fate, and is sitting in a crouched position while the drone ominously hovers around him before going in for the kill. And then you have people in the comment section going, based, 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 based. And I'm thinking, like, you do realize that it's war, right? Like, it's a human life. Like, one day, this could be your son. You know, like, maybe your government listens to you and thinks that, okay, maybe this is based. I mean, we do have the technology to make based things happen. So maybe we should start a war. Or maybe we should get involved, right? And then your son gets drafted so that the opposite faction can go based. Like, I'm not saying that killing soldiers is or isn't justified, but what I'm saying is, like, do you have to cheer on Twitter? Like, it makes you look unhinged. Like, if I was the Russian government, I would want this to go viral. If you were part of the enemy faction and you would see how they're acting, you would show it to all of your soldiers so that they know, it's like, look, if we take prisoners, this is what they do to us, right? Like, look how cheerful they are. Look how base they think it is, right? Do you guys think it's base? Like, this is just prime Russian propaganda if they get their hands on it, and they probably do because it's on the internet, right? So, like, the absence of decorum is definitely done because of these drone footages, you know, like, mixed with heavy metal song, mixed with interesting music to get all the people to cheer. But the question of whether drones themselves should be banned or not is an interesting one, because Arch claims, well, they rot the human soul, in the idea that the drone operator is sitting behind enemy lines and he's basically playing Descent. Like, it's kind of like a video game, right? You're theoretically not in any danger, and you're able to kill people from far away. I wouldn't say that this is necessarily a reason to consider that drones are any different than other technologies we had up until now. For example, artillery. Artillery is the main cause of death in war. I don't know how many people are aware, but most of the fighting in warfare doesn't end up with soldiers dying from bullets or from tanks or from any other thing than artillery. Like, artillery is usually responsible for 70, if not 80% of the casualties. And it's incredibly impersonal. Now, there's a reason for this, is that human beings are actually wired to avoid killing each other, even in warfare. Like, there is just something when you go into a melee with another person and you're fighting with bayonets or with swords or with whatever, right? You're clashing in melee. Most people do not want to kill the other person simply because of psychological reasons. Like, it's an evolutionary trait that all humans have. And so when you're moving from melee to range weapons, killing becomes easier. This is why crossbows, for instance, were banned by the church to be used against Christians. It's because they removed that evolutionary component. Like, all you have to do is to have, like, a jerking reaction on the finger, and the bolt flies and the damage is done. You can't stop yourself. You can't hesitate. Like, the moment you're in combat and you're sitting to 20 other crossbowmen in formation, they all open fire at the same time, the bolt just went away, right? So the damage is already done. Now, obviously, if you change this and you talk about artillery, it becomes even more impersonal. More often than not, the artillery guys do not get to see the target. It is completely dehumanizing. Like, you launched a volley, and over hundreds of kilometers, people die. You don't get to see them. You don't know what happened, right? The explosion doesn't discriminate. And so that's pretty much modern warfare. And so if we're thinking about that, and you also think about stuff like carpet bombing, or simply like being in a military jet and launching a missile, or just being in a bunker and pressing a button and a missile flies away, right? When you compare to that, the drones, in my opinion, aren't that different, except that you have a camera on the missile. Now, regarding if drones actually changed warfare, I wouldn't say that it changed it. I would say that it just brought warfare back to where it was supposed to be. A lot of people look at World War II with the Blitzkrieg and the fast assaults, and they see war as being mobile, as being incredibly fast. When in reality, I think World War I was the actual industrialized slaughter that modern warfare looks like. And I think that is the norm, not the exception. And so what drones are doing is pretty much replacing, well, not replacing, but supplementing the concept of artillery, that if you leave your defensive formations, you're cooked. And if you want to know how war is like in the Russian-Ukrainian front, it's kind of like this. You get drafted, You're not given a gun or anything at that time, right? Whether it's the Russian side or the Ukrainian side, you're just taken off from your house. Like maybe you're a 40-year-old guy, you got a family, and all of a sudden you're taken to the recruitment officer. Whether you're summoned or you're taken by force, doesn't really matter. But once you're there, you're going to be provided some basic training, if you're lucky, and then you're deployed. And based on your skills, if for instance you're a doctor, then maybe you're placed in a hospital. If you're a person that's a Uber driver or anything like that, maybe you get to be placed in logistics to drive a truck. If you have, obviously, some sort of pilot training or anything like that, then you're going to be considered more valuable. But chances are you end up in the trench with the rest of the guys. And so the question is like, what do you do in the trench? Well, you get the trench foot. It's cold, the weather is nasty, you get to take a shit in the trench. When rain comes up, the water lifts the shit, floods the trench, and the trench is hell. It's because it's incredibly boring, nothing ever happens, and you sit there for probably weeks, if not months, just being on the same routine, checking to see if there's any enemy coming forward, if everyone is fully stocked. Sometimes your own government can forget about you, and you're not receiving new rations. You're supposed to be rotated in theory, but chances are you're still there for 6 months, and you wonder if anyone even remembers where you are. Maybe some soldiers desert, and now you feel even more lonely, right? You make connections with the other guys that are there. They all have the same tragic story as you do. They don't want to be there. And then shit happens. And shit happens really fast, extremely violently, usually by artillery. Like you get bombarded, and under bombardment, it's RNG Jesus. If you're lucky, the shell doesn't fall on you. If you're unlucky, you're dead. If you're extremely unlucky, you manage to survive with half of your body ripped apart. And you're basically screaming in agony while your friends are shell-shocked. Shelling can last anywhere between a couple of minutes to hours to even days. The sound is excruciating, can cause blood to come out from the ears, can rupture eardrums. It's really nasty. And again, you just don't know if the next shell is going to be on you or not. And after the shelling stops, it's usually followed by an infantry push. The infantry probably has their own drones as air support, and you have your drones as well. Unfortunately, after getting shelled, you probably don't know what the fuck is going on, right? Maybe you get even a stun grenade in your trench, and now you're confused. And you're looking at the sky, and you're seeing drones hovering over there. You can't tell which ones are friendly and which ones are foe because you're still disoriented. If you're lucky, you can identify at least where the enemy is coming from. It's usually easy, right? Because you're in the trench and the enemy is outside the trench, so at least there's that. You have the advantage because you're in the trench and they're outside the trench, unless they're in which case you probably panic, morale plummets, and then you have the disadvantage. And the thing is over pretty quick. So, warfare is months of absolute tedious boredom with trench foot, with sometimes lack of supplies or provisions, and then shit kicks the fan really fast, and then it's back to boredom. And so this is the horror that I understand modern warfare to be as. And when I see people glorifying it, for most people, which I think are on my side, right, like the common sense people that aren't terminally online, understand that war is hell. It's not something that we desire. It's something that happens. It's not something that the average citizen even has a word to say about. Like, if the politician decides that war will happen, it will happen. And so, seeing people cheering, glorifying, sharing these footages as if they're the Holy Grail makes me wonder, like, who are they sharing it for? Our side or the enemy side? Because, again, most people watching this aren't going to think in ideological terms. Most people watching this are going to think, okay, this could be my father, this could be my son. Why are you glorifying his death? Like, understand that he is an enemy combatant, right? Has he committed him personally, like he himself, has he done any war crimes? No. Okay, so why are you sharing his death to people online while having rock music and cheering it like you want the enemy to treat you the same. Like, what's the purpose in this, right? Like, this is excellent propaganda for the enemy faction. They can just show it to all their soldiers, and it's like, this is how they treat us when we surrender. How do you think their soldiers are going to fight? I'm just asking, like, I generally don't know. Like, what do you feel? Do you feel catharsis? Is it good? Like, if you feel catharsis, you know, there are websites with actual footage of tanks blowing each other up, you know, like, genuine war bravery and heroics, where you can see, like, tank formations breaking into the enemy lines, successful assaults done by the Ukrainians, like, the map being changed, you know, invasion into Kursk and other shit. Like, why don't you watch that? You know, because that's actually more impressive. It's got logistics behind it. It's got strategy. It's got tactics. It's got war bravery and, you know, like, that type of thing. This shit is just fucking dehumanizing. Why are you sharing it, right? Am I making sense? Let me know what you guys think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.